On this video, with the help of the beautiful Rita, mix both of them, the flash and ambient light, to shape and sculpture your perfect image with flashes. The first thing that you need to understand is that you are practically using two sources of light, the ambient light and then the flashes. I'm gonna show you this graphic, okay? Going up on the graphic is the amount of light. The horizontal is the time, because photography is light and time, okay? The second is the dynamic range of your camera.
So let's introduce on this graphic the flash. As you can see, the flash is a big amount of light in a very extreme short time.
So the time is basically your shutter speed, how long will be your photo. Now the aperture is the size of the entries of the light on your lens. So the bigger is the number, more resistance will offer to light. The ISO is just a way to boost sensibility of your camera. Spoiler, we're gonna make a lot of mistakes on purpose so you can see what will happen while we are changing the settings, okay? Let's do this. So let's start with the shutter speed. Doesn't matter if I raise or diminish the shutter speed, if the flash power is the same, it won't change the light of the flash. It will only change the ambient light. I'm gonna take a photo at 250th of a second, okay? So what you are seeing is almost only the flashlight, okay? Add more time in the shutter speed, like 1/30th of a second. Heat is looking great, but we have much more ambient light. There you go.
So putting both pictures side by side, we can see that the ambient light, it's more pronounced now that it spent more time hitting the sensor, and the flash is affecting the image exactly the same way. So the same flash power, the same influence in the image, no matter the shutter speed.
Rita is already on the perfect spot. Nice. As you can see, this photo is perfect because I already dialed in the settings. Let's ignore that and try to see why I have the choices that I did, okay? The aperture is the resistance while the light is traveling through the lens. As the light of the flash and the ambient light will cross through the lens, everything will get dark. Ambient light and the flashlight. I am f2.8, so I'm gonna close down to, I don't know, f8. Everything gets darker, including the flashlight. It actually looks good. I like the background. I don't know about you, but I like a little bit the background. Yeah, the rocks get a little bit contrasty with this, okay? And let's play with the ISO. Now, the ISO, it's the sensibility of your camera. So if you rise up or down, it will change the ambient light and the flashlight. 50 ISO, and you can see that everything is dark, okay? And let me push now the ISO to 16,000. And you can see that everything, including the ambient light, is overexposed. By accident, the f8 picture, we liked it a lot because the rocks has a really beautiful contrast on them, but the exposure on it, it's not good enough. So the flashes, I will raise it up here on my system, more power, and looking good? Yeah. Now, imagine that we want to eliminate the ambient light, is reduce the ISO and close down the aperture, okay? So the shutter speed is at 250 because it's the limitation of this camera. So I'm gonna talk about high-speed flashing in a bit, but just to keep it simple, 250th of a second. I'm gonna shut down the flash, take a picture and try to get a black picture, okay? Now, perfect. Everything is dark. I'm gonna turn on the flash now and we're gonna start to add light to Rita. I'm pretty sure that I need to push more light to the flash. As you can see, not enough, okay? A little bit better. The flash, it's bouncing light to the background as well. So we don't see the light of the ambient light, but the flash is so powerful that it's sending light also to the back. But we eliminated the ambient light like so. We have a challenge here. We have a beautiful view with the sea and a very contrasty sky, and Rita is in front.
So the first thing that I'm gonna do is define the settings for the background. because I don't want the background overexposed. The shutter speed is at 250, and I'm gonna reduce the aperture and the ISO until the histogram tells me that the image isn't overexposed. Also, I could shut down the flash because this test is testing out the ambient light, not the flashlight.
Very good. Now, Rita is underexposed, but we have the details on the back that we want. 3 speedlights that I have, it's pointing up. The white ceiling will be our softbox. Now, power up the flash, up to the max. If this doesn't work, well, too bad. And I guess we got it. Now, just to be clear, I had to use 3 speedlights and a lot of power because we are maxed out in all the flashes to try to match outdoor ambient light. You do what you gotta do. We're gonna do some more shots just for fun, okay? We are here outdoors and the beautiful Rita is here with a beautiful landscape on our back. But that causes a problem. The sky, it's way over bright, overexposed. So I'm gonna take a picture without the flash first so you guys can see what it will happen. I am in program mode and as you can see the sky is a little bit blown out. Put my camera in manual mode.
So by now I imagine that you guys know how I photograph with ambient light and a flash. I do some test shots until I get the ambient light that I want with the flash shut down. In this case, I want the clouds not overexposed, of course.
So my camera is already saying that I am 3 stops underexposed, but if I check the Instagram, yeah, I have a lot of details on the highlights. You can see the elephant in the room. This Rita is underexposed, so let's turn on the flash.
And raise or diminish the power until I get the look that I want. In this case I was in 132 of power, but I have 3 flashes. It will depend on the power of your flash, it will depend on your ambient light, it will depend a lot of things.
So the beautiful Rita is over there on the bench. I only turn on 1 flash. In fact, I'm gonna remove the flashes so you can see that I'm not cheating. And I will try to get the flash as closely as possible to Rita because of the inverse square law, okay? I want to have shorter depth of field. If I open way more the aperture, the ambient light will be extreme. No surprise to no one, it's overexposed. Now I need to reduce the time. The flash sync of this camera is 250.
All cameras are different and the high-speed sync of my camera is at 250 of a second. To understand the mechanic of what is happening, I have a clip here from the YouTube channel called Slow-Mo Guys, showing how a shutter works in slow motion. So, on my camera, 250th of a second or slower, there is always a time where the sensor is fully exposed to the light. Faster than that, the sensor won't be fully exposed, causing a problem with the flash.
That is a problem that we need to fix, and to fix, activating the high frequency sync.
High speed sync is an option on some flashes where it can make a burst of flashes as the shutter is traveling through the sensor.
Let's see what we're gonna get. It looks too dark because it doesn't have enough power on the flash. The flash is bombarding light like boom, 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 boom during exposure. It cannot output that much light, but I am 1/4 of power, so I'm gonna increase all the way to 1 by 1. And it is. And still way too bright, so I need to get a faster shutter speed. Let's put 2500. Nice. I prefer it like that. The main problem, the flash will take longer to recycle. It will take longer to be ready to fire again, okay? It can overheat extremely fast because it's bombarding light like that, okay?
And because of a lot of bombardment that it's doing, it's less powerful.
Yeah, so a solution to not use that is put an ND filter on your camera lens. By adding an ND filter, 2 main problems can cause is maybe the autofocus will be a little bit difficult. Not really, because the new mirrorless cameras and the old autofocus from DSLRs are quite good. It shouldn't be a problem, but also it has a little bit of color shift. Could be minor, but normally it has a little bit, okay? Now I can reduce the shutter speed, okay? Close a little bit down the aperture, especially if you are outside, you want to see a little bit of the landscape as well, as we're gonna show you over here. Rita is up there in front of the car, and for all intent and purposes, continuous light will be considered as ambient light as well. So let's take the nice photo without the flash of the ambient light and then combine with the flash, okay? What I'm gonna do next is turn on the flash.
There is a common mistake that photographing at night you need a lot of power in the flash. Actually, shooting with the ambient light is the other way around. Because at night you are pushing the ISO, you are pushing the aperture to get the most of the ambient light available, and that two factors will push a lot the flash. So you're gonna need to reduce a lot the power of the flash to work properly.
Okay, 60th of power. Let's see what we're gonna get. And it's way too bright. So let's lower it down. Really low it at the minimal as possible. So 256th of 1. Nice. So everyone, there we go. How easy and simple is that? Make sure that you understand the inverse square law to apply this. So thank you very much to Rita to help me on this photo shoot. She was amazing. Drop a like if you learned something, comment down below if you have any questions, and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. I am Mikael. Rita, see ya.